Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I am your host, Sam Randazzo. Oh, it's Victory Monday. We're back. We're better than ever. Green Bay sucks. Adios to Dennis Allen. We've got a power-packed show today. I don't even know where to begin. I don't. There's so much going on in the NFL world right now. We've got Lions talk. We've got Bears talk. We've got Sunday Night Football talk. We've got it all today.
You know what else we got?
What?
We got Gary and we got Joe V. Sells 10 feet away from us right
Joe
now.
V. Sells is out on the other side of this wall, as is Gary No Football. It's going to be one of those days today. We're coming ready. We're ready. I drank a bang about an hour and a half ago. I'm ready. I'm ready to bang. Are you ready to bang? To my right, it's our very own Uncle Sam.
Hello.
To my left, it's the one and only Mr. Zolo, Mike Palzolo.
How we doing?
Behind the computer, just absolutely coated and
He's so high.
dripping
Right now.
and
Put the camera on.
just
put the
swimming,
camera on.
You have to wait.
Put the camera
swimming
on,
through
please.
pools
You
of
have to
his
wait.
own pink
Put
goo.
It's a
Put the
process.
camera on.
It's
I
a
want him to see the
process.
grin.
Just-
Put the
just-
camera
It's
on.
a process.
There is so much
Put the
goo.
fucking camera on.
It's Bruce, the tugboat Venditti.
See, it's a process.
He's looking more orange than pink today.
He is.
I don't know why. Maybe it's the lighting. I don't know what it is.
The lighting. I don't know. He actually looks tan.
That's a farce.
I will tell you right now, if you see the color of the wall behind him, that's really his color. It's not that skin tone.
It's got to be the lighting.
It's just a fucking camera.
What? Yeah, I'm looking at
Got it.
pink and I'm seeing orange. It just doesn't make any
It
sense.
doesn't make any sense.
Maybe he's orange in honor of Election Day tomorrow. You never know. Maybe.
I'm full of goo, maybe that's why.
It's Monday. Uncle Sam, how was your weekend? The people can't wait to hear.
That's great.
Already in the chat, Tyler Nelson. Shout out to Tyler Nelson. Props to Uncle Sam for the Tillman anytime touchdown prop.
Cedric Tillman.
You got another horrific one in Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill.
Yes, you did. Yes, two horrific props that paid out.
I didn't get my Khalif Raymond, so I was depressed on that one.
Did I reference Jackson Smith and Jigba at all?
You did.
Yes, you
You
did.
took the over on yardage, and I think you took the anytime.
And he was a beast yesterday.
Zolo, how was
That
your
was the game of the
weekend?
day. That was the game of the day yesterday.
I agree.
It was Rams Seahawks.
I agree.
Weekend. I can't remember. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. Oh, you know what? I got something I got to say.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
I went to Ferlito's Friday night.
Oof. Power move.
And he, for those that don't know Ferlito's story, Josh, the chef, he bought it from the Ferlito family, and Josh went to CIA Hyde Park, so he's like as highly culinary trained as you can get. And he always has these off-menu specials, and the best thing he does is his short ribs. And he had his short ribs on Friday, and he had him over this incredible risotto. I had that Friday. I had some great tacos with Sarah and Imperial on Saturday. It's good. I ate well. I ate well
nice
this
full
weekend. And then yesterday I just
Sprawled.
watched football. Didn't
Just
even
a
eat
nice
dinner. Just watched
Sprawling
football.
day. You know where I went on Saturday?
I saw your dog Saturday, by the way.
You did?
Yeah.
Where?
We went to go show Elizabeth's mother the Cybertruck,
Oh yeah,
And
she
she
was
came-
hanging out there.
and she came out with the dog.
Well, the dog was there. I was at Al Tayeb.
Brunch, Al Tayeb brunch.
Oh yeah. Top tier.
It's always good.
Absolutely incredible.
What if I told you I've never been?
You need to go.
I know.
You need to go. Bruce, how was your weekend?
Relaxing.
Wasn't that nice?
Yeah.
Must be nice. Must be nice to be pink, coated in goo, and relaxed.
Rake
all
my
the time.
leaves.
Raked his leaves,
Played
shot
Call
some
of
goo,
Duty,
shot some goo.
Oh, I cleaned my car Saturday. I did a deep clean on my car.
Did you?
Love how it.
Look at
turned
how
out.
productive this. You don't have anything to add in.
You ever use Armor All wipes before?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how they work because I
Makes
just left
everything
a
brand
bunch of
new.
streaks.
Brand new. Everything's brand new. You don't have anything to add in. Everybody had these great weekends. All you can say is great. Can't you come up with something?
No,
Nothing.
nothing. I got nothing for y'all.
He almost killed a political pundit that showed up at his front door. Other than that,
I'm
Yeah,
so sick
I'm
of the
not
fucking
gonna-
texts.
I'm not going to bring that up because all I know.
yeah, we might not want to go there.
The bowl pump, the bookcase I made, I'm cutting a hole out and putting a bowl pump in the corner of it. That's all I'm going to do.
All right.
Well, now
With all
everybody
that said,
knows.
you know what? Let us know how your
I don't know
guys'
where
weekend.
most places at.
I want to hear about the people's weekend. Let us know how your weekend was in the chat. If you ate something good, if you did something fun, let us know. It's Victory Monday. We should all relish in this together. With that said, we're going to save the best for last today. And we're going to grab the format from last Monday's show, and we're going to go through the games by division, just like we did last week. There were 2 byes this week, so 2 teams that we don't need to discuss are Pittsburgh and San Francisco. Real quick on some San Francisco news, Christian McCaffrey is going to practice tomorrow. Any thoughts on that?
He's on schedule to play. Sunday.
He is on schedule to play this weekend.
Yeah.
I figured it would be out of the bye. It's out of the bye.
Who do they play?
San Francisco
Who are they
in
playing?
week 10, they go up against Denver. That could be the juice.
That could be interesting.
Oh no, excuse me. Kansas City plays Denver. San Francisco plays Tampa. In Tampa.
That's interesting.
in Tampa.
We'll
That's-
see if Tampa can survive tonight.
Yeah, and then see what they've got.
Turn
in
around
store
on a
for them.
short week and have to play Frisco
Yeah.
off the bye.
Yeah, well, we
That's
talked about it a
interesting.
couple weeks ago how Tampa had to go through a gauntlet. And
Yep,
gauntlet.
here
has
we
been
are.
done. Pittsburgh, not too much news to report at the moment.
Okay.
Nice bye week for them.
No receiver for Pittsburgh yet.
No, Pittsburgh, yes. So, programming update. Tomorrow at 4 p.m., we're going to go live with the trade deadline report. We are skipping our Wednesday show this week. We are upping it to tomorrow. Tomorrow at 4 p.m., we will be going live with a full trade deadline report to keep everybody in the know of what's going on.
Won't take long.
No.
A lot of the big deals have already happened with these wide receivers. We'll go over. I mean, no fireworks today, but the fireworks are coming.
Besides the fact that the Lions are currently first in betting odds on 4 top-tier defensive ends, who knows? Who knows? But you did say something before the show that sparked my interest.
Please.
That the Max Crosby thing now is starting to feel realer than ever due to the fact that the Raiders fucking got shit pumped again yesterday, and Max Crosby wasn't happy about it.
Look, all I know is people I know that know. I don't know anyone that knows Crosby. I do know people that know his wife. Like in particular, I know someone that played soccer with his wife. And the Lions can't legally call him or his agent and say, like, request a trade here. That's not how it works. It's tampering. You can't do that. From what I understand, this is totally secondhand information. You cannot run with this because we don't even know how true it is. Crosby's wife let it slip that they've let it be known through the proper channels that they would be more than okay with a trade here. They want, like, he wants to come here. Everything that you see, the surface level stuff, I'm a Raider, like he's supposed to say that. It's just rhetoric. Now, him wanting to come here doesn't mean that Mark Davis is going to say, all right, Telesco, see what you can do.
He already said no.
He already said no. But that, I mean, admit things change, though, all the time. Admit that can change.
Yes.
That can change. I
He's a
don't think it's
weirdo
going
anyway.
to. I don't think it's
I
going
wouldn't
to change.
believe anything that Mark Davis says.
Yeah.
As it stands right now in this moment, the Lions are from Bovada. The Lions are first in odds to get Azeez Ojulari, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, and Zadarius Smith, which obviously they're not going to get all of them, but we'd be happy with.
Let's just do this real quick right now while Uncle Sam's here because he's not going to be able to chime in tomorrow.
Can I give you my wish list?
Yeah.
In a perfect world.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, it would be Crosby and Ojulari.
I just want Crosby.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, but
all I want.
I'm
I don't think they need.
But
another
Ojulari
guy
fills the
out-
guy on the other side. He's
I
24.
don't think
and
they
it's
need
done.
another guy outside of Crosby.
I think if
I
they
think
get
Crosby is good enough to where he's going to draw enough attention to where whoever they throw on the other side could be successful.
it's tiered. The system's tiered, right? Like obviously if there's some sort of dream scenario where you end up and I don't think this happened. I got a gut feeling on Crosby. I don't think it's happening. If you end up with Crosby, Hendrickson, or Garrett, you're pretty happy.
Oh, yeah.
You could probably manage to sign. I mean, 2 of those guys are under team control. I think you're able to sign Trey Hendrickson long term as well. Bengals are buying for they've. Do you know they've only traded for players mid-season twice in like
Yes.
50 some years?
Do not.
They don't do that. They're buying. They're looking to add to their D line, and they're looking for a corner. So that's not going to happen. The Browns, I could see a world where there's some sort of like, okay, we can't turn this offer down, and maybe we can get the next quarterback replacement to make up for the 2 picks we lost for Deshaun Watson. I can see that, and then you get cap relief in the process. Crosby, same drill. Like, it would take a dream. It's not going to happen. That being said, I've been saying for months, and Uncle Sam has agreed with me, they needed a D lineman when they lost Kaminsky.
Right.
And then they lost Marcus Davenport. And now Josh Pascal's in and off the sheet. You're down to Al-Qadim Muhammad and
Don't forget about Isaiah Thomas.
And then moved
Forget
over
about Pat O'Connor.
and then
Pat O'Connor.
a guy that you moved over in Anzarike who's suited in the middle, right?
Correct.
They needed a DN before Hutchinson went out. So you need a high caliber guy in Hutchinson's replacement and then a DN. Ojulari is for me at the top of the list. He gets better every week. It makes tons of sense.
Yesterday.
And he's 24.
He's 24. You sign him. You give him a good deal. He has a low cap hit. You have team control over him. That's your pair across from Hutchinson going forward, right? And then you have your bookends with Anzarike in the middle and with McNeil in the middle. You have a D line set for the better part of the rest of the decade, right? So if they can manage Za'Darius Smith and Ojulari, and you can get away with Za'Darius Smith, you could probably get away with trading a 4th for. Ojulari, you could probably get away with trading a 5th for, right? If you can manage that, that would be huge because you have 2 competent DNs that could make sure, even though the Lions didn't give up 100 yards yesterday, somehow they gave up 89 or 90 in the first half, and then he still didn't hit 100, which means they still haven't had a 100-yard rusher against them all year. You have your answer at least at that. You might not get the pass. I mean, those are 2 guys with high sack numbers over the last month, but you have guys that could stop the run and then maybe even rush the passer, and that certainly could take this 7-1 team to a whole new level.
There's no chance they don't do anything, right?
I would be shocked.
I don't think there's a chance in hell they don't do
I
anything.
wouldn't write that off.
Some people agree with him, by the way. Some people are like, they bungled it last year. I'll believe it when I see it. I am not one of those people.
I think they have to.
I wouldn't surprise me if they come out of this with nobody.
It would
not surprise me.
I'd be surprised.
I'd be shocked.
There's just too many names out there at this point, and they're the only team that hasn't made a move.
I just think that Brad Holmes sticks to his guns, and I don't think he likes to give up any kind of capital. He likes to do it on draft day, but not in the off season. I don't think he likes to do that stuff.
I think he will. I think if you walk around and saying that the goal, like he did it again today, Dan Campbell goes, I certainly think we can beat anybody on most days.
Correct.
And this team was built, like he said it last night in the locker room, this team was built to beat any team, anytime, anywhere, any place. And if you're going to walk around and saying that your ceiling is a Super Bowl, you have to make a move. There's no excuse. You have to part with the 3rd or 4th round pick.
I agree with them having to make. They have to do something. I don't like what I saw yesterday when we get into that. But
one other name that popped up today that was kind of interesting for me. Tyreek Hill. That the Chiefs have made a phone call. Wouldn't that be quite the reunion?
Can they afford him?
They lost a tough game yesterday. Miami should have won that game. They had every opportunity to win it.
Let's talk about all the games now. Let's get into it. We'll start off with at the bottom of the AFC West. We'll talk about the Las Vegas Raiders, who we can assume will probably sell whatever.
You missed a bit of news in the fact that they fired their entire offensive coaching staff.
They fired everybody
Today?
Everybody.
You want to hear something else hilarious as well? I can't remember what the tweet is. But every day, like literally, it's like a couple minutes later after the Raiders lose, Shedeur Sanders tweets out, "Thank you, God." The same way, "Thank you, God," in all caps. And it happens to fall every day the Raiders have lost a game. And the 2 times they won games, he didn't tweet it out that time.
Well, so he's calling his shot. He knows where he wants to go. Luke Getzey, James
I wouldn't want to be fucking Mark Davis.
James Craig, and Rich Scangarello all got ousted today. Where does that leave Antonio Pierce?
Yeah, done. Done.
I
It's
mean,
over after the year.
They're probably just going to wait till the end
What
of the
does he
year,
do?
right?
Who's running the offense then?
They have the bye this week, so they're gonna
Oh.
take some time to figure it out. But they don't know yet. They don't know who the quarterback is. They don't know who's gonna run the offense.
They don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
It's completely falling apart. Like I
Because
said,
I didn't think they looked bad yesterday.
they lost 41 to 24.
Listen, they played hard yesterday. I watched parts of that game. They played hard. I don't know.
Desmond Ritter got in.
I
That's a big piece of news. Desmond Ritter could be the starting quarterback for the Raiders next week.
That's not good. Because he's not good.
He didn't fuck
Let's be
up.
honest. He's not
He
good.
fumbled. I forgot he fumbled.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did what Desmond Ritter does.
All bad for them. Some names that they could. Jacoby Myers' names popped up in a few trade talks. I don't know.
Already?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
He
I
just
mean,
got back to playing. They already want to trade him?
Look, here's
he's
what
the
I'll
only
tell
thing
you.
worth selling outside of Crosby.
Here's what I'm gonna say about the Raiders. I thought the job that their GM is brand new. It's Tom Telesco, who was with the Chargers for a very long time. I thought the job Tom Telesco did as a talent evaluator was very good. And you have a GM that can figure this out. And this is my Lions hat on right now. I think you need to go and get as many assets as possible and have a big offseason and tear the thing down to the studs. And no more of this Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew thing.
Desmond
Nothing.
Ritter.
You have a couple recent picks that you could sink your teeth into. Brock Bowers he's not
dog.
going to be the real deal. He's the real deal. You start there. Do what the Lions did. This goes to every team, by the way. Build from the trenches out. Do what the Lions did. Go start drafting offensive linemen. Get some picks so you can get a quarterback and an offensive lineman this year and a receiver. Go get some draft picks and tear the thing down to the studs. It's not going to be Antonio Pierce. You'll have to figure that out down the road. But this is
They need to get a coach.
Bill Belichick.
Maybe. Tom Brady.
man.
I don't
Bill
think you
Belichick's
could be-
gonna
I don't
go
think
somewhere he
be
can
an
win.
owner and a coach, can you?
No.
No, I don't think you can.
If that's what you take, Brady could do it.
So needless to say, the Raiders are dead.
Weirdo.
Let's flip that coin. Let's talk about Cincinnati Bengals real quick.
No. Stay in the division. We'll hit the Bengals. We'll talk
Okay.
about their blowout when we do the AFC North.
Broncos got shit pumped by Baltimore yesterday, 41-10.
That was actually a pretty entertaining game early.
Uh,
The later it got, the worse it got.
yeah, for the first 15 minutes.
No.
Yeah.
No. I thought that game was competitive all the way to the third quarter. I did. I thought it was competitive all the way to the third quarter.
I'll
And it started to get out of hand.
listen. If that's what Denver's got to give, the coin's going to flip on them really fast because I didn't see anything from that defense yesterday that appealed to me. Nothing
Well, when you got
defensively.
the monster Derrick Henry, I mean, there's not much you can do.
Yes, but on top of that, I think that was the best I've seen Lamar Jackson play all year. He was out of control yesterday.
You had the Broncos in the hunt last
Yeah.
week when we did this. You had the Broncos in the hunt last week, and I had them as not out of it. Big loss against a good team.
Yeah.
We still feel okay about the Broncos, right? All three of us.
I'm going to tell you what. I'm impressed with Bo Nix.
That's fine.
I didn't think I would say that, but you know what? He doesn't have a lot to work with, and the guys that he's working with are not real good. But their offensive line is not good.
I'll tell you
they
this.
need help up front.
I'm not. Right now, I was kind of in the middle. I think they have 5 wins, so it's hard to write them off completely.
And
I'm going to
they're
stand
doing
pat
it.
with
They're
them
not
for
a
one more
real.
week.
That is not a deep team offensively. They're pretty.
No, they're dog shit.
They are not deep.
They have
Denver,
no talent.
they have nothing.
Offensive.
They have nothing.
They have
offensively.
no offensive talent.
They have
They are
nothing.
not deep at all.
And you saw that yesterday. I mean, Cortland Sutton had 122 yards, and
He had a passing touchdown.
he did have a passing touchdown. But
Yeah.
two Bo Nix.
Two Bo Nix.
The only reason they're where they're at is because of their win total. because I was more impressed with the Chargers, who are in division, and I was much more impressed with Cincinnati. And those are in the same tier. So they're quickly falling out of my good graces. Speaking of the Chargers, and I know this is going to be a tough one for you.
30-30.
30-30 returned to 30-30 form yesterday. Actually, he referred to 90-30 form yesterday with 3 picks and 1 touchdown. The Los Angeles Chargers played a very, very nice game against a team that's dead.
I guess that's the question. Does this make you move the needle on the Chargers? Does it make you feel any different about the Chargers? Or did they just beat up on a really bad team that's down bad right now?
I don't think
That team just coming off the big high. They beat Baltimore the week prior, and they come out and they laid a motherfucking egg.
if we're talking about the Chargers right now, and that's
We
I'm
are.
trying to talk about the Chargers right now, even though it's next to impossible to
You tell me how that team beat the fucking Ravens.
we're not
last
talking about them
We'll get
yet.
there.
Hold
We'll
on.
get there. We're focusing on
Talking about
AFC
the
West.
Chargers.
We're focusing on AFC
Chargers.
West.
What did the Chargers do good?
They run the football and play defense.
I will tell you this much because I agree they ran the football very good and they played very nice defense yesterday. But I thought that was Justin Herbert's best and most productive game he had played in all year. Quentin Johnston came alive. It all looked very nice yesterday for them. It all looked very nice. I feel better about the Chargers than I do the Broncos.
I think the Chargers are going to make the playoffs.
I think they're on track too as well.
They're fundamentally sound. They're beating the teams they're supposed to be.
Correct.
They're what Chicago should be. And if I'm a Chicago fan and I'm watching Jim Harbaugh that I wanted so bad to end up in Chicago, thrive in LA, I would be upset right now. But I like the Chargers, and Cleveland's a bad team. We'll get to Cleveland when we talk about the North. It's a bad team, but also like if there's bad teams on your schedule and you're supposed to beat them, you're supposed to beat them. Chargers were 5-12 last year. They already are 5-3 right now. You know, there's a lot. I think there's a lot to like about the Chargers, and they're getting better every week. Their locker room videos, have you seen them yet? The Harbaugh locker room videos.
Oh, yeah.
They're exhilarating.
They want to run through a wall for
They're
this guy right now.
absolutely exhilarating.
I know Uncle Sam doesn't want to run through a wall for Jim Harbaugh, but he's got a team.
Running the toilet for Jim Harbaugh.
Listen, one thing you cannot say is that Harbaugh's going to lose that team. Even if they go on a historically bad run.
No.
They're playing for that guy right now. No. Moving on to the AFC South, Jacksonville. Do you know Jacksonville has now lost 5 games? They're 2-7. They have lost 5 games by 5 points or less.
That's tough.
That is tough.
Yep.
That's tough.
That is tough.
There's a double edge to that. We watched Minnesota win that many games by
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yep.
Correct.
Can certainly
And
make
they
that
won how
case.
many games that year? 11 games, 12 games that
Something
year?
like that, yeah.
They were the worst 12-win team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Uh,
Jacksonville's dead. I'm going to say this much. ETN, it's not there. Their run game in general, for me, isn't really there.
I'll tell you what, I thought they were going to get blown out, and they actually
didn't.
battled back to stay in that game.
And I'll tell you what.
Did we pick them? Did one of us pick them? I think we both said it would be close.
It would be. I think we swept Philly, but we all knew that this was going to be a close game. Trevor Lawrence did not look good to me yesterday at all. He had 2 picks. He didn't have really an answer for the Philly defense, and Jacksonville was still in this game.
He had a lot of heat on him yesterday.
He had it coming from all
They
angles.
did not protect him yesterday.
And you know what? It's kind of it kind of sucks because he played a bad game. They couldn't run the football. Their defense didn't look horrible except in the run because Saquon Barkley's just an absolute fucking madman. We'll get to that. But it sucks because even with that little of production, they were in this game.
Yep.
They were in this game.
They battled through it. Well, I think it was Nick Sirianni thinking he was fucking Dan Campbell and kept going for it on 4th downs and fucking 2-point conversions. He went for 3 of them, didn't get 1. He's fucking dog shit, dude.
Moving on.
What?
Nothing.
What?
We're not talking about Philadelphia. We're talking about Jacksonville.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Philadelphia.
We got to talk about the Tennessee Titans.
What about them?
They got an overtime W
They
yesterday.
got lucky they won.
They beat the Lions hangover.
They beat the
They
Lions.
almost didn't beat the Lions
They
hangover.
beat the Lions. They barely beat the
and
Lions.
then they beat the Lions hangover.
I don't even know.
Anything redeeming to say about the Titans? Is there anything that you liked about the Titans yesterday?
I'll tell you what, Mason Rudolph showed me something. That motherfucker was hurt, and he stood in there and he was delivering.
Mason
He was
Rudolph.
delivering.
Mason Rudolph didn't look bad against a horrendous defense, and Tony Pollard ran the ball very effectively.
Pollard was lights out.
Can they trade us Arden Key? Can they send Arden Key to Detroit?
I
'Cause
wouldn't
he
mind.
looked good again yesterday.
He did look good again.
Arden Key.
Arden Key.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad. I'll say this much. Tennessee they're missing a lot, but they have some building blocks. Like, wouldn't surprise me if they could. Will Levis, I don't believe, is the answer, but if they can, I think they have something to build on.
I saw a rumor that that's where Bryce Young could end up.
I mean, I wouldn't hate that.
How good would he look
Tennessee?
there? Yeah, Tennessee.
I wouldn't hate
What the fuck
that.
you do with Will Levis?
Fucking
I think they
Invested
might be
in him,
out on
dude.
Will Levis, but
Dude.
I think Will Levis deserves more time. I'm with you just because of that young quarterback
it's
narrative.
Way too early for either one of those guys. I think it's too early for Bryce Young, for the people to fucking pack it in on him, because the kid can play. He's got talent.
Wouldn't you rather see him in Tennessee than in Carolina?
Yes.
You know what? You want to
Yes.
know where I would
100%.
rather see him? I'd rather see him on a team I'd rather see him on Dallas Cowboys.
That'd be a great spot for him too.
And I'm not bullshitting you. I
be a
know
good
that
spot
sounds
for him.
crazy, but I would rather see him on the Dallas Cowboys than Dak Prescott.
Honest to God, I mean, we'll get there when we talk about Bryce Young, but I could think of like 10 or 15 teams where he would look. I could think of legitimately 10 teams Bryce Young would look
I'll
good
give
at.
you one right now for the fucking hell of it. Put him on the Jets.
Oh, Jesus.
What?
I
With
can't
that receiving core they have?
That is
Seattle.
the worst.
Seattle.
The Jets
Seattle?
is the worst possible situation to
need
send
to
a
stop.
quarterback that needs to fucking develop with the weight of the world on their shoulder.
If I was them,
Jesus.
I would sign him and let him play behind Aaron Rodgers for the next year or so. So when Rodgers decides he wants to quit.
Could we do the Colts?
Please.
I guess you don't agree.
I do not.
No, I don't hate that.
I hate it.
I don't hate that.
don't-
They're gonna need the Jets legitimately need a quarterback in a year or two.
Correct.
But that's where quarterbacks go to die.
Correct.
That's my problem
It's
with the
no
Jets.
different than
But he's a
Carolina.
fit.
Hey.
He's a fit.
That's what they did with fucking
Listen.
what's his name? They sent him to Seattle to die.
In 2 years,
And he's starting.
after next season, when the
The
Jets
Jets threw him to the curb.
Seattle's a good franchise though.
when the
Jets are
Jets
not.
go 500 again next year, and Aaron Rodgers goes off into the sunset to smoke
We're
ayahuasca,
not done yet. So just
we're not done.
I think
You know who you can put
we
the
ain't
fork in
done
right now?
yet.
You know who you can put the fork in right now? The Miami Dolphins.
We're not there yet. Can
Oh,
you
we're there.
fucking wait?
Put the fucking hook on them.
Jesus.
Let's do the Colts.
We're gonna
Sunday
hook the
night-
Dolphins.
Because I have a
Sunday
question.
night football.
I have a question here.
Sunday night football. The Indianapolis Colts. Let's discuss. They lost to the Vikings by a touchdown.
Are you guys? It's one start, so it's fair to call it an overreaction. I don't think it is. Are you guys ready to revert off of the Joe Flacco
No.
thing?
No.
You might be. I know you. You hate him.
I'm not.
Insert how
I'm not.
good Brian Flores and his defense is, and how he could scheme any quarterback into this.
I just saw a winnable game last night, and I know it's the Vikings, who I'm a lot higher on than a lot of people. I actually do think the Vikings are a good team. A lot of people think they're garbage, and they are what happened to them over the last 2 weeks. That being said, I thought that was a winnable game for the Colts last night, and I thought I'm not blaming Flacco. They're just missing so much to me that I think it was almost karma. Like I think you need to at some point. Like I hope he gets the Bryce Young treatment, and I hope Anthony Richardson gets back in at some point, because it's kind of, if you're gonna lose games like that, you're just stunting his growth at the expense of just not starting him. Like that would have been a perfect game for him to come in and thrive in, a road environment, and it was winnable. And I'm not saying he would have made a difference. That's not what I'm saying. This is the reps, though, that they need. And I don't think this team is there. I don't think it's good enough, despite their record saying, well, we have a shot at this thing. I don't think it's there. That's my argument. And I'm going to give that argument every week after they lose.
But the problem is this: that was such a close game last night. You can't. It would have never been in that predicament.
Flacco wasn't the reason it was close, though, I don't think.
I
I also think he
saying- I'm
cost them the
saying,
game a little
dude,
bit here and there.
He's already had his chance to make plays, and he hasn't done it.
He's had 10 games, though.
I get it, dude.
Yeah, but you're saying
When do you
Maybe
go back to?
maybe he needs another fucking training camp. Maybe that's what he needs. You know?
Maybe.
you want to give Bryce Young another chance.
I just said
You just told him he's the heir apparent to Aaron Rodgers.
Listen, I'm not writing the guy off. I'm just telling you they have a better chance of winning with Flacco than they do Richardson.
I mean,
Period.
okay.
And I'm not going to move off of that because I know for a fact that they have a better chance of winning with Joe Flacco.
This is the thing. I agree 1,000% with the fact that Flacco did nothing to help them win that game last night. He didn't. He didn't.
He cost them the game, but he had chances to win the game, and he
didn't.
He threw a really untimely pick in the fourth quarter that kind of upset me.
He was doing that shit last year too, and still pulling out wins.
But
So
I'm just saying that my argument, scale back a little bit. My argument, we're talking about the Colts, and I think that the Colts, they shouldn't have made that move. I think they should have let Richardson marinate and get the reps because he needed the reps, and that was a perfect game for reps. They're not going to make a run, I don't think.
The problem with this is I feel so much worse about the Colts today than I did last week. Because this was a true test. This was a winnable game. It was a winnable game, and they couldn't get it done. And if you're a playoff team, which is what they're geared for, that's what they think they are, that's a game that you have to win.
Yeah.
well, once again, the AFC is weak.
The AFC is weak. Speaking of how weak the AFC is.
I think we could skip the Texans. We talked about them the other day.
Yeah, we already did the Texans and the Jets. That disaster.
We'll have enough Texans talk this week with the Lions coming in to roll them this weekend.
All right, let's talk about the flip side of the Chargers game, the Cleveland Browns. So they got shit pumped. 30-30. There's no hope for this Browns team, correct?
Not to me.
No, it's getting pretty bad.
We're not firing Stefanski. What are your thoughts on Stefanski?
Okay.
As coaches are getting fired here, what are your Stefanski thoughts?
Here's the thing, dude.
They're 2-6.
Talent level wise, yeah, I get that. But how many other teams out there have more talent than
You
Cleveland?
know something? I don't want to hear that shit. I don't. Because now you've got Nick Chubb was supposed to be the savior. You got him back. You're on quarterback number 2. I mean, receiving core wise, they're not as depleted as Denver.
No.
They're not as depleted as
This is what you're making my point right now. Talent wise, Cleveland has a lot more talent than these other teams that are
Right.
So you're
have the
saying
same
he
record.
should be on the hot seat? Is what you're saying?
I think
Stefanski
so,
should be on the hot
yeah.
seat.
Njoku, by the way, is supposedly quietly on the block. David Njoku.
That'd be a huge one.
There's some good fits for him.
Okay. What are you supposed to do?
Can I make a case for Stefanski since you guys went against him?
Sure.
I don't think they're talented. I agree that there's talent on their defense, a lot of talent on their defense. I think Stefanski is going to end up being another victim of really piss poor quarterback play that gets a coach fired. And who would have thought that this Deshaun Watson thing was going to blow up like it did? And I think that that's going to define the last 2 years from him, between the injuries last year and then the start this year to the injuries this year. And I'm not going to go as far as saying, well, I'd like to see what Stefanski could do with a better quarterback. Well, no, they need to. It sucks for Browns fans, but they need to go back, and now they're staring down the barrel of investing in a quarterback. And they're another team. You trade Myles Garrett or whoever, they're another team that would
Greatly benefit from the pick.
You need those picks. You haven't had first-round picks in 2 years because of the Watson trade. So you need first-round picks at this point. It shows. The talent depletion shows offensively, in my opinion. I don't know. I think Stefanski's a great coach, but
he's going to be the
scapegoat.
collateral damage.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I think it's trending that way.
What's the difference? What's the difference right now between the Jets and the Browns? Because Robert Saleh lost his job.
No, because I'm going to tell you this much. I think actually the Jets offensively have more talent than the Browns do.
The quarterback play, I think, is the difference. And I think the Browns have been a little more injured than the Jets have as well. They really overachieved last year. Really overachieved. And I think the difference is quarterback play. Like you talk about how Flacco was playing at a very high level last year
Why
when they
he
needed
didn't
him to.
return there to this year is
Well,
beyond me. I
Which-
still don't understand.
In my opinion, that's another notch in Stefanski's hat. He won 8 or 9 games last year and made the playoffs with 4 different quarterbacks. Not just Joe Flacco. Dorian Thompson-Robinson won a game last year. Deshaun Watson won a game last year.
For me, I guess expectation wise, right? Like you were extremely high on the Browns going into this. You thought they could win that division going into this year.
I really did.
There's a lot
I really
of people
did.
who thought that
I
same
thought,
way.
here, new season, Deshaun Watson, the full
The
training
defense, the way it was set up, like there's a lot. The expectation
camp.
was for them not to be dead at the halfway point, and it just to me it feels kind of like the
it didn't
Jets.
start good, and it's ending even worse.
All right, let's jump up to Cincinnati, third place, 4-5, big win over the Raiders, 41-point game. I liked what I saw out of Cincinnati yesterday. Burrow
Could you say Burrow's starting to look like Burrow again?
Burrow looked fantastic. Chase Young played a very nice game. Burrow looked like Burrow again. They're 4-5. I feel better about them than I did last week because
Chase Young?
Chase Brown. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Chase Brown. He had a nice game. He had over 120 yards rushing, I believe. For me right now, if we're taking wild card teams, I think I feel the best about Cincinnati. I'm going to say that hesitantly.
They're
But,
in.
like today,
They're in the hunt.
I feel better about the Bengals than the Colts. I feel better about the Bengals than anybody in the East outside of Buffalo. And they're 2 games back, and it's starting to click now. The only team that record-wise is going to, I think, give them fits would be the Chargers.
Possibly, yeah.
But this is the Cincinnati that we know and love.
Can we talk about their next 4?
Absolutely. Because I don't think it's very easy.
No, it's not. They go to Baltimore
On
Thursday night on
Yep.
short week. They go to LA after that to play the Chargers. That's Sunday Night Football. It got flexed in today.
I know.
That's going to be a great game, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And on paper, Bengals should win, right? They
Correct.
should win.
They should.
I don't know. I think that's the Jim Harbaugh coming out party. I could see them getting rolled in that one.
If the Chargers win that game, then you have to start thinking of them as a legitimate threat.
They already are a legitimate
Well,
wild
I'm
card
talking
threat.
like, this is a playoff team plus.
After that, the Sunday night game, they host the Steelers, and then they go to Dallas, who obviously could, things aren't shaping up great with Dallas right now, but
How Mike McCarthy's still employed is
Could I be
that's
honest
their next
with you?
4. Yeah, that's their next 4. Are you seeing 4-0 or 3-1?
I'm seeing 3-1 right now. Do you want to know the only game I think they lose? To the Chargers.
And 3-1 puts them at 6-6 there.
Because here's the thing, right? This division, yes, I know on paper Baltimore's better than Cincinnati, but these guys always split. It's rare that they go 2-0. I think that they can beat Baltimore on Thursday Night Football. They're hot. They're hot right now. They feel good. I think they can beat Baltimore. The Chargers game is the definition of a trap game for me that they're not ready for. They go into the bye. They come out of the bye. I think they beat Pittsburgh at home in a tight game. And Dallas, I'm not counting Dallas as a big game.
Can I tell you something? Just because the way their schedule shapes up, because then they have Denver at home at some point. Cleveland comes to them. I'm not going to read into that. They have Denver at home, and then they end with at Pittsburgh.
And they get a win at Tennessee.
Watch out
in
for
there.
those divisional games, buddy.
Yeah.
We already seen that.
I mean, yeah, you got to watch. That's my point. Like, they're not going to beat Pittsburgh twice. They might
No.
not. They might not even beat Pittsburgh at all.
I think they split with Pittsburgh, and I think they split with Baltimore, which means they win on.
Yeah, be careful.
So
They could all lose Cleveland.
I think it's just extremely tricky for the margin of error is slim, and I think their schedule is harder than a lot of the teams that they're racing for. That's my problem with them.
Realistically, they can lose 2 more games.
Realistically, they could lose 2 more games. Wait, hold on. You mean just in order to get they're at 6 losses or 5?
They're 4-5.
They're at 4 and 5. 2 more puts them at 7.
10-7.
10 and 7. I think 9 and 8 gets them.
9
in.
and 8 could get them in.
I think 9 and 8 gets them in, but I'll tell you this much:
Everybody's
that stretch,
so shitty in that whole division. 10 wins is going to get them in for sure.
that stretch, the next 4, they have to go. they have to go. I mean, at least 2-2. They really have to go 3-1. I can envision a scenario where they lose this week, they lose the week after that, and then they lose to Pittsburgh. I'm on the opposite side of you because I don't see it. I think they're just a lipstick on a pig.
Their defense sucks.
Burrow's playing at a high level. Good for you.
He's going to have to will them to win every single game the rest of the way.
Yeah, that doesn't last long. And there's locker room issues as well, right? The
Yeah.
Jermaine Burton thing.
He was in a casino by himself, and there's a whole depressing story for him. Let's talk about the Ravens. Again, we talked about it already a little bit. I think this was Lamar Jackson's, in my opinion, his best game of the year. He had perfect passer rating. 16-19, 280, and 3 touchdowns. He didn't run the ball all that much, which is I'm good with that. If he can throw the ball like that and not have to run and let Derrick Henry do all the running, I'm happy. I'm good. I think the Ravens played their best ball yesterday. And I know it was against Denver, and I'm still wishy-washy on Denver, but their defense looks good to me for the first time in a minute because their defense has been the suspect of them this year. I think Baltimore yesterday proved what everybody should be scared of.
I think you can. I know it's Denver, but I think you can read into that win a little.
Yeah.
That's a good win.
That was a statement.
Especially coming off of the bad loss.
That was a statement win. How do you feel about Baltimore today?
Well, I mean, they're probably the second best team in that division.
In
the
that division?
In conference.
In the conference.
Who would you put above them?
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, whatever.
The champs. The champs. Listen, the road for the AFC goes through
I'm so sick
where?
of hearing that.
Where does it go through? Arrowhead. That's it. I know you're high right now, but Arrowhead.
Like we
Remember
said,
that.
I was just gonna say Kansas City because usually I say Kansas City.
Did Deontay Johnson even play?
I think he was wildly ineffective if he did. I don't even know if he was targeted, to be honest. Let me see here. Because honestly, I'm interested in that too.
He was in the on the bench smoking Bruce's weed pen.
Was he? He was just high on the bench.
That's it.
Deontay Johnson did not have a target.
Yeah, okay. He didn't play then.
Okay.
There's no way he played.
Jumping up, the New England Patriots lost in overtime to Tennessee. They're dead.
The Patriots are dead, but can I say something?
Sure.
Oh no, wait, we're in the AFC East now?
Yeah.
I like Bo Nix. Or excuse me. I like Drake May. I think Drake May might actually be a thing. I think they got that right, and I think they have a major asset and a good piece.
He combined for 301 yards of total offense yesterday.
Pretty good for a guy that's not good.
95 yards on the ground, 206 through the air. The problem was ball security. But it's a rookie guy. He's still green. I don't hate it, though, especially when you have no...
Listen, he's a big kid. He can run. He's physical. He can throw the football. He can throw the football down.
Watered-down version of Josh Allen.
Go get him some pass catchers.
And a running back.
Go get him in the offseason.
Ramondre Stevenson had a really good game yesterday.
He did.
You know what they need, and this is going to sound cliche. They need some good offensive linemen there. They need some guys that can protect this kid to where he can actually stand back there and try to read a defense instead of running for his life.
A franchise tackle and a franchise receiver, and then maybe even bring in like T. Higgins or something.
I like their tight end situation. I think they have multiple good tight ends. I don't think they have bad receivers there. I really don't.
Give it up on the fucking receivers.
You know what? I don't think they have bad receivers.
Come on, dude.
I think the system is flawed that they run. They could use a really good OC there. I don't know, dude. Tell me I'm wrong.
Well,
tell me I'm wrong that they don't need a better offense.
Kendrick Bourne and Demario Douglas are both. They're talking about trading both.
Okay.
Both names have come up in trade talks. So you're going to be left with.
I don't think Demario Davis is a bad receiver. I don't think I know Jalen Polk is a good receiver. I don't think that they are doing a very good job of creating things for these guys.
Okay. They need a franchise receiver. None of those guys are filler at best. Is there a situation where you see Kendrick Bourne as a fucking number one certified bona fide franchise
I
guy.
I like Kendrick Bourne. He was my dog at one time.
You like dog shit for some reason.
And-
That's the problem. You like dog shit.
Yeah, and you don't.
No, I don't. I'm off
Yeah.
the dog shit train.
Yeah.
Speaking of dog shit,
You're on any train that does what you want it to do. Go ahead.
speaking of dog shit, the Miami Dolphins.
There you
We
go.
can actually kill two
There-
birds
there's
with
your
one stone
fucking
here.
train right there.
Nice
Went off
divisional
a
game
cliff.
between the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. Miami comes up a field goal short in this game to Buffalo lose 30-27. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what Miami could have
When
done.
is everybody going to come to the fact that Mike McDaniels is not that good?
Dude, I don't think he is.
I don't think he's that.
I don't think he's
I don't
the
think he's
problem.
this mastermind
I don't
of
think he's the
offense.
problem.
I do. You want to know why? Because he's such a little rah-rah guy. I don't care for his coaching methods, and I don't care for the way his team acts. And he's getting exactly what he deserves. It's what happens when you bring too many knuckleheads in together.
I'll take the bait.
Go ahead.
I think that they're just talent depleted, especially defensively. It's Achan. It's what you have left of Tua. It's Achan. It's Waddle,
Waddle
and
went out
and
hurt.
and Hill, and then the rest of it. It's just that all those defensive injuries that they had in the second half last year. I just think it's coming back to bite them, and they just need to restore the chest, the war chest, and keep the cupboard going a little bit.
I thought they played pretty fucking well yesterday.
Wouldn't you say that's coaching though?
Yeah.
Huh?
Wouldn't you say that's coaching that makes them play well?
I
'Cause
mean,
they don't have
they
anyone.
played well. I don't think it's the coaching. I don't. I think offensively they're pretty predictable on what they're doing. You know, outside of Achan and Mostert,
Dude, they made something
being
out of
two
Jonnu
fucking
Smith as of
monsters.
late.
What?
They made something out of Jonnu Smith as of late. I mean,
What are you trying to say? He's not good?
no, he's not.
You're Mr. Johnny Smith. I don't know
Defensively,
how you would say that.
defensively, their defense reminds me a lot of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It's just old. It's
If you don't give up 30 points, you probably win. Like if you get that number down, we'll call it 6 points. You win.
Yeah, you had Josh Allen under wraps for fucking 3 quarters.
right. I mean,
Then in the fourth quarter, they fucking petered it out.
they just let it slide.
That's what happened.
Their defense is just,
They petered out in the fourth quarter.
I don't know.
You know,
But
when are you gonna sit there and pay Tariq Hill another fucking $40 million to do what?
well, I think that's
180 yards receiving, no touchdowns.
the Dolphins are 2-6, and I think the
Bye.
chances of them doing anything this year are dwindling very, very quickly.
I think
This
they
was a
have
must
already.
win for them. I would not be shocked to see them try and recoup something for Tariq Hill at this point.
No.
You don't think so?
No. I could see them moving parts. Tariq Hill's not one of those parts. Because this team still has good optimism for long-term success, even if it's not this year. And you don't want to give up an asset like that affects it. I could see it with Agba, like a guy like Emmanuel Agba or any of their other expiring contracts. Maybe if someone wants to take a flyer on Mostert, can totally see that. But no, there's too much.
So what are you doing?
long-term-
Beckham Jr. was complaining all week that they're not.
He got
using
3
him.
catches for 15 yards.
Well, he's been complaining all week that he's not being used.
Well, he's just real simple. He's a cut job. Worst case scenario.
Okay.
We don't have to talk about the
You think he's
dysfunction.
better than Waddle?
Who?
Beckham Jr. at this point in his career.
Absolutely.
You think he's better than Waddle at this point in his career?
No.
Waddle's. I'd like to see Waddle when everything's clicking full go for
And
the
he's
Dolphins.
actually healthy. We don't have to talk about the dysfunction with the New York Jets today because we already did that. And Buffalo. It's Buffalo. Buffalo's
Buffalo.
Buffalo will probably clinch by Thanksgiving.
They got lucky in that game yesterday. I really thought they were going to lose that game.
I do too.
Is Buffalo here? Let me organize this a little bit because there's not really much to say. Is Buffalo in the class of the Ravens and the Ravens? Okay, you're already shaking your head.
I don't think there's.
Ravens and Chiefs. Do you think Buffalo's in the class of the Ravens and Chiefs?
Yes and no.
Well,
Yes and no.
Go ahead.
Yes and no. I do.
Tell me more.
Just watching them yesterday. Now I get it. No Amari Cooper. I
no
get it.
Amari Cooper.
That was big.
but the whole season had featured no Amari
Correct.
Cooper until
Correct.
2 weeks ago.
I just think they're almost right there. But I know something. Josh Allen's not giving games away like he did last.
That's a great line, almost right there. That's a good line.
Almost right there.
Can I break this down a little bit? I think they're in the class of the Chiefs. I don't think they're in the class of the Ravens.
Yeah, I'd like to see more from them, Buffalo. I could see them winning the AFC. I'm high on them right now. I don't know, like, in their best game, if they can take Baltimore down.
I don't think they I feel the exact same way
I
about
don't think
Buffalo.
they take Kansas City.
I feel the exact same
I mean,
way.
I know we need to see them tonight.
They play, too, right? Buffalo and Kansas City? They should play.
Kansas City has not definitively won a great game all year.
Well, they're going to have to play somebody tonight, right?
Wait,
They got to play Tampa
they do
Bay
play, yeah.
with the ghost of Sterling Shepard and fucking HR Puffin stuff as their starting wide receiver.
Kansas City goes to Buffalo in 2 weeks.
There we go. And
have
guess
Mike-
what?
They should
Exactly what you just
have
said.
Amari Cooper back by then.
Exactly what you just said about Josh Allen. The inverse will happen.
And Keon's
Always-
injured, by the way, as well.
He always
Yeah,
chokes
yeah.
against Kansas
Hurt his
City.
wrist.
He always chokes against Kansas City. So Buffalo will choke the game away against Kansas City, and Kansas City will be 10-0 by then because it's just smoke and mirrors. Buffalo is very similar to Kansas City in the fact that just yesterday, they should have put Miami away easily, and they can't. They can't.
No, I thought they were going to lose that game.
Right. Right. And if you talk about the
I
Chiefs,
took Miami for a reason.
that's 7-0. I'm sorry, but that's 7-0. I know how hard it is to say, but it's smoke and fucking mirrors. I think Buffalo right now is a little bit better than Kansas City, but the Ravens for me are in a class of their own in the AFC. Should we move on to the NFC? Let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks, who are now sitting at the bottom of their division after an overtime loss to the Los Angeles Rams,
That was the best game yesterday.
who are now second.
That was the best game that I've
That's a
seen.
great game.
who are now second in their division. I do agree. That was the best game I saw yet.
Are you guys mad Mike McDonald didn't kick the field goal in overtime?
I thought he should have.
I'm not.
I thought he should have.
I'm not. You gotta.
When
It's
you
a
have Kenneth
divisional
Walker,
game.
it's frustrating that they didn't get the yard for me. I'm shocked that the play call. I can't remember who their offensive coordinator is. It's not coming to me right now. But I'm shocked that the play call wasn't. It was. I think it was a. Was it a pitch? Was it a pitch to the left?
Yeah.
You have Kenneth Walker. Why aren't you?
When you have short yardage, don't ever try to run outside. It's
Geno
so
Smith is
fucking
like-
stupid.
Geno Smith is.
You know
like
what that's
6'4",
like?
6'5".
You know what that's like? Having the best short yardage back in fucking the history of the game, and you throw the ball at the fucking 2-yard line.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
That's
Not
what
the
that's
first
like.
time Seattle fucked that
That's
one
the
up.
first time they've done that.
Geno Smith is 6'3", and it was a long yard. It was closer to a yard and a half. He's 6'3", 220. You couldn't run a QB sneak. Like you couldn't push forward on that
Kenneth
line.
Walker, what are you doing?
Yeah, well,
What are you doing?
It went to Walker, but it was a pitch to Walker, and that's what pissed me off.
That's my point.
I liked going for it though,
I did
I like
too.
going for
This is a divisional game in a tight.
and on
division.
top of that,
go for the win.
you have a good defense that should have been able to get a stop that they did not get.
Agreed. But I'll
So what's
tell you
the
what,
difference?
A short yardage play, when all your DBs are up on the line of scrimmage, dude, don't ever try to run wide. When you do, you're fucking done.
In their
There's too
passing
much
game,
speed in the NFL to do that.
their passing game is what got them there. And after the big
Yeah.
play from Smith and Jigba in overtime, they could have passed the ball. They never did. They went to Walker. In 3 plays, he got them to 8.5, we'll call it. You didn't run one passing play, and that was what was working with you. That was how you were carving them up.
I mean, Smith and Jigba had an incredible game yesterday. He looked fantastic, and that was without
Tyler
without
Lockett looked
Metcalf.
good yesterday.
Lockett had a nice little game yesterday too. The Seahawks aren't that good.
They're not.
I don't think they're.
And-
I don't think they're dead.
They're not dead.
They're not dead,
They're not
but-
dead because the division's so
Yeah.
tight, but they're not that good. And I'll tell you what, as soon as they didn't get that, I knew Stafford was going to win him that game.
Listen, you can't leave Matt Stafford
can't.
standing.
You
If you
can't.
do, he's gonna fucking beat you. Dude.
He was cooking in that overtime
cooked,
too.
man.
He was incredible in the
Tell me he wasn't throwing fucking darts yet.
in the overtime.
I was
he
like, God
really-
damn.
He was ripping it, man. Good for the Rams.
He never did that here, for some reason. He couldn't get these guys to do that.
Can we, because this is 2 of the teams in that division, and one obviously,
Wait, hold on. Don't move. I want to talk about the Rams' defensive line. about Fisk and Verse.
Fantastic. And don't forget about Colby Turner.
Colby Turner's been outstanding all year. It was great yesterday, but Fisk and Verse, I mean, Jared Verse is the real deal. The real deal. And
He's very real.
He was real at Florida State. Like, people forgot that. If you go back and look at a mock draft from 2 years ago,
Jarrett Verse was the best lineman to come out of that draft.
if you look at a mock draft from 2 years ago,
Yep.
he was the number 1 or number 2 overall pick 2 years ago. If you looked at the
Right.
2024 draft, Verse was, I don't know what happened. There was like a little gap at Florida State last year, and they were good, obviously. But then there was a fall off from there in the draft process that caused him to slip. You had some teams taking Leatu Latu, and
Yeah, well,
Dallas Turner was up
actually,
there.
though, Latu was the best pass rusher out of all those guys.
Versus,
And I understand
So
that's
good.
why the Colts took him.
I love. They have a nice little unit brewing there.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I think he's done a really good job there. McVay, you can say what you want to say about McVay. He drafts well and he develops players.
Yeah.
He does.
I don't know if I really want to.
What?
With Christian McCaffrey coming back, okay, that division right now is essentially
It's wide open.
it's that somehow by the grace of God the Rams could win this division.
yeah, 100%.
I really
Yeah, no,
There's
no.
a reason for that.
Don't paint it like it's a crapshoot. It's very much in play.
even with, but see, the reason why I'm choking on this is because without Christian McCaffrey, I think it's a lock. I think that this could breathe.
I think Seattle could win this division still.
I don't. I think if there's one that's dead, it's Seattle for me.
Fair, but I also think that they're not out of it.
They're not out of it.
They're not out of
because it's just so tight.
The gun in my head, the Cardinals are still my pick right now. Can totally see the Rams winning this. Can totally see the Niners coming and winning this too.
Well, let's talk about Arizona. They slobber knocked Chicago yesterday, 29-9. There's Bruce is alive back there. Look at that. Bruce with the sound effect. Look at him go. All right. How much of this game was Arizona playing really well before we talk about Chicago? I don't want to talk about Chicago yet.
We'll get to Chicago.
We'll get to Chicago.
We'll get there.
How much of this game was Arizona playing really well? You're a big Arizona guy. I want to hear your thoughts. You like the Cardinals.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Tell me what they
What
did
stood
right.
out to you yesterday in that game?
Their defense.
What else stood out to you?
James Conner.
Listen to me. James Conner.
Yeah, James Conner.
That's what stood out to you?
100%.
That's it. How much of this game did you actually watch?
I watched a good amount of the game.
Okay. Mike, did you watch it?
No.
DeMarcado was a fucking monster.
DeMarcado was a monster.
He ripped off three huge runs.
No, he didn't. No,
Yeah,
he
he
didn't.
did.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Because he had
Okay.
4 carries and one of them was for 53 yards. He totaled 59 yards.
Wait, what's your
He had
question?
one huge carry.
What was your question? Initial question? Did you even ask it?
I said, what clicked for the Cardinals yesterday?
The run
What
game.
looked really good?
Their
The run game in general. That's how you beat Chicago. If you can
'cause
effectively
they were
run the
throwing
ball.
the ball all over the fucking.
No.
If you can effectively
Trey
run the ball
McBride
against
was there.
Chicago, you're good.
The only thing that worries me about them is that you've got a ton of talent in a receiving core. And they do. You said it best. Where the fuck is Marvin Harrison? Where is Marvin Harrison?
He can't get open.
I'm still.
I don't know if they can't scheme him open or he just can't get open.
I'm still skeptical about them offensively. I know it was a very nice game running the ball against what we thought was a pretty good run stop defense.
Yeah, that just
But-
not look good yesterday.
But
They were getting gashed, dude.
for me, and we'll talk about it in a second, this game told me more about Chicago than it did about Arizona. You guys can agree or disagree.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying, but it's because Chicago is just back to being in such disarray, and there's so many plot points. But no, I still think this game said a lot about the This is the Cardinals' best win this year,
Agreed.
and
Without
against a
question.
good team. and they have again, they're in it. Are they in first? They're in first, right?
They're in first.
They have a chance to keep piling these wins. And I think that's huge. I think that's something that we have to take seriously at this point. I think we have to look into that. No. Let's do this real quick. Cardinals
Jets.
schedule.
The Jets. Next week they have the Jets.
The Jets at home, which I could totally see the card.
totally see
You want to gauge this game? Let's ask Mr. Jet who's going to win this game.
You know who I'm taking.
Then they hit the bye. Then they go to Seattle, to Minnesota, play Seattle at home.
To Minnesota, great barometer for them.
Great barometer.
December 1st, great barometer. Honestly, that back to back. That's a tough stretch.
Oh, God. But then it's not because they play New England at home and then go to Carolina.
Last place schedule. That's all the more reason why they can get in. And then they have the Niners at home to end the year. Oh, they go to the Rams at some point.
They go to the Rams.
And then they have the Niners at home to end the year. And I mean, that's a
That's a big
winnable
game.
game. That's a winnable
It's a
game.
very big game for them.
That could be
They've
for the
already beat the
division.
Niners once. Could they sweep them?
Bang bang.
Bang, bang, baby.
They beat the Niners without Christian McCaffrey.
Whatever.
Didn't Marvin Harrison not play for the Cardinals that game or get knocked out of that
I
game?
thought he did. Concussion.
Okay. Let's discuss the NFC South.
Why?
We have a new team at the bottom of the division after the New Orleans Saints lose to.
I think you were the only one that committed to picking it, but we all thought this was possible. We were all in lockstep.
Did anybody
here.
else pick Carolina?
I did.
I had it and switched because I said Carolina was going to get their win next
I thought
week.
because Derek Carr was playing, they would win.
Wrongo.
I got some good Derek Carr stats for you. Some great.
Carolina Panthers beat the Saints 23-22 to move to third in the NFC South. Both these teams are 2-7. New Orleans lost 7 straight games, and then they took Dennis Allen and threw him out in the trash.
So Derek Carr is the first quarterback in NFL history to lose to 31 teams. And get this, there's one team he hasn't lost to. It's the Las Vegas Raiders, his old team. And they play this year. The Saints and Raiders play.
Interesting.
Number 2, he's also the first quarterback in NFL history to get the same head coach fired midseason twice. Dennis Allen was the coach, I think his rookie year or something. Or at some point in Vegas, Dennis Allen was the coach, and he got him fired there as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was he an intern coach there?
I don't know. I don't think he was. I think he was the head coach there. They cycle through coaches like hotcakes.
Wow. How many more
like
times
IHOP
this guy
on a
get
Sunday.
Fucking job, huh?
Dennis Allen's a really good defensive coordinator, so he might just be one of
Yeah.
those guys like Spagnuolo that could thrive as a coordinator.
I don't know.
Did
The
anybody
Raiders.
did anybody see Michael Thomas on Twitter yesterday?
Yes. And Chris Olave's brother.
And Chris Olave's brother. Chris Olave took a monster hit in this game.
No, I seen it.
Okay. Chris Olave's brother went on there and said that Derek Carr's main goal in life is to get receivers killed. So hold on, but then you dig a little bit deeper. They put together a video montage of all the times Chris Olave has had to reach for a ball and gotten killed. So that's number 1. Number 2, Michael Thomas said
You could say that about every quarterback in the NFL today.
Derek Carr's not good.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that fucking Kyler Murray almost got somebody fucking killed yesterday, decapitated.
He did. Who?
Kyler Murray did.
Well, Kyler Murray's not a good quarterback either.
He got somebody almost absolutely killed yesterday. So I don't want to hear that. Every quarterback in the league.
Michael
today
Thomas
the same shit.
said they fire all them coaches trying to cover up his flaws, and he still does the same shit.
Talking about Derek Carr?
Yeah.
Okay.
The year his buddy went first team All-Pro in 2022, he needed 180 targets to catch 100 passes. He is ass on my granny.
Who said that?
Michael Thomas.
Whatever. Michael Thomas hasn't caught fucking more than 5 balls in the last fucking 5 years.
Okay,
He's
regardless,
fucking go away. He's a has-been.
regardless, I think Derek Carr is an issue there.
You think?
I think Derek Carr is an issue. Kamara did everything he could to try and win this game, and it still wasn't enough. What do we make of the Saints? They come out 2-0. They put up 100 points in 2 games, and then they just absolutely bomb. Now they're out a head coach. Season's done, correct?
Well, here's the thing. After they went 2-0, Taysom Hill went out, and ever since then,
Oh,
they haven't won a game since. And Taysom Hill came back yesterday.
Yes,
for
and
the
he scored a
first time.
touchdown.
And he scored a touchdown. So.
There you go. I'm Saints.
Hey, it was a close game. They lost by a point, and their coach got fired.
The Saints, I think, are going to be sellers tomorrow. I think you're going to see somebody get moved out of there. The season is over. It's time to tear it down and rebuild. I think Derek Carr's the end of his line there. I think the Saints are at the end of their line, which is wild after the first 2
Fish
weeks.
Derek Carr then if they're looking to fish somebody.
Who would take Derek Carr? I don't think there's a team in the league that would trade for Derek Carr right now.
Yeah, I think
Dog shit.
I think that's over.
It's a viable
It's done.
backup.
He needs to be in the same place
No.
that Aaron Rodgers is.
You'd be
It's
the best
over.
Backup in the league if you were backup. No.
By the way, we were all close. I think
Best backup.
I can't remember the conversation, Bruce. I want to answer that question too. By the way, I can't remember the conversation, but we were all close on Dennis Allen. Like I think I moved him up the fired coaching rankings a while back.
I
And
mean, we thought they found their identity in the first 2 games of the year.
It was
And
all farce.
Like I said, was I wrong on that though? Right after Shaheed went down, and fucking so did Taysom Hill, they've lost every game.
Dude, why are we still talking about Taysom Hill?
Because they've lost every game since.
Okay, but they've lost 7 in a row.
they're still not a good team. They don't have a good quarterback.
Taysom Hill's not moving the
That's not the
fucking
same
barometer.
team that
for
put
them.
up 50 points the first 2 weeks. Mind you, they were against
What, because of Taysom Hill?
the worst teams in the league.
Okay, I mean, they lost to the worst team in the league. But if we talk about the other side of this, I don't think the Panthers played a good game. I really don't. I think they got lucky. This was just 2 awful teams battling it out that are both dead. Agree?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Wait, can I say something about Bryce Young?
Please.
Good for him.
Yeah, he does. It's good for him to get this.
I hope it persists. I still think he needs a bit of a change of scenery.
That'll be the last win he gets this year.
He's gonna win next week. He's gonna beat the Giants next week in Germany.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
wow.
went back smiling.
If there is a game that Carolina is going to win all year, because they play the Giants, and then, big shocker, they play Kansas City. That'll be Kansas City at 9-0. Tampa, Philly, Dallas. Maybe Dallas. Maybe they'll beat Dallas. Who knows? That'll be the Mike McCarthy gets fired game when Carolina goes into Dallas and
Whatever.
wins.
If they win another game this year, I'll be fucking shocked.
Tampa.
Hey, actually, you know what? Hold on a minute. I take that back. Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
We got to talk about the Tampa Bay plays tonight.
Right.
So we got to play Atlanta. We got to talk about Atlanta. Atlanta beat Dallas 27-21.
I don't think that game was as close as the score tells you either.
Atlanta sitting soundly in first place now by 2 games.
What do you think?
Kirk Cousins had a nice game. Bijan ran the ball well. Just overall, it was a nice win.
You don't think the score is gonna be tonight? You're talking about tonight's score?
No, he's
No,
talking about this game.
Yesterday.
They got Dallas got 8 fourth quarter points.
I think I'm a little higher on Dallas than you guys are. That being said, the Falcons may have opened the door a little bit more. I think it was the Falcons' game to lose. I
I'm
think they
not
were
wildly
affected.
impressed with Atlanta.
I wasn't yesterday, but they got to win against a decent team.
Atlanta's going to win a shitty
John
division.
Robinson's for real, dude. That guy's a fucking monster. He's for real.
You know when the game changed for Atlanta yesterday was when Drake London went out. I think Drake London is poised for. Hopefully, he's not out for too long. Sounds like it's day to day. He might even play this week with the hip pointer, but I think there's a lot to like about Atlanta going forward. I don't know where I think they're the third. They might be the second best division winner right now. They might be in second place they're the 2 seed,
Yep.
if my math is correct.
Washington.
Well, that's right. Sorry. So they're the 3
Washington
seed.
and then Philadelphia.
You got to feel
and
good
then
about that.
Minnesota. So right now
You got to feel good about that if you're a Falcons fan.
I agree.
And I think Washington's poised to slide eventually.
Well, the thing is, Atlanta's I think in the worst division in the NFC.
Yeah, but they're managing.
They are.
They're managing. If Dak doesn't go out yesterday, that game might end. Even though Cooper Rush kind of came in there and started slinging in the fourth quarter, I think that game might be a little different.
Hello.
He should be the starter going forward. They should bench Dak Prescott.
Hey, taking the Dallas Cowboys to win this week. I don't give a fuck who they play. It's a Cooper Rush.
Jesus Christ.
Cooper Rush is the quarterback. They're
Jumping
gonna
up
win
to
the ball game.
Jumping up to the NFC East.
Hey, everybody forgets when Dak Prescott was hurt. How many fucking games did Cooper Rush win in a row?
It was like 4.
5?
He was carving yesterday.
Yeah.
He was cooking in
There you
that
go.
4-minute
There you
drill.
go. Cooper Rush.
Ooh.
You want to start at the bottom, or you want to just
Rightful
touch it,
starter
finish up Dallas
quarterback
while
on
we're
that
talking
team.
about them?
You want to finish up Dallas? We can finish up Dallas.
Just finish up
stick
Dallas
there,
real
yeah.
quick.
So Dak Prescott injured. CeeDee Lamb banged up. Cowboys are 3-5.
And their owner / general manager still might be stupid enough to try and buy pieces tomorrow because he's in denial.
The only let's
Micah Parsons is coming back this week, though.
ooh, before we write this team off, because I'm right there. Going forward, they play Houston next week on Monday Night Football.
It's winnable.
Then they go to Washington.
I'm not saying they're going to win that right now.
Then they play the Giants at home.
Winnable.
Cincy at home.
I'm going to give Cincy that one.
At Carolina.
Winnable.
At home against Tampa.
How's their schedule this easy? You'll learn a lot about Dallas sooner than that. Tuesday or Wednesday.
Oh.
Is if Dak has to go to IR. Because I think they can split in the next 2 weeks without Dak.
Excuse me, I missed one. Philadelphia next week.
Oh, that's a loss.
So they have Philadelphia, then Houston, then at Washington.
I think Houston's winnable. It's a matter of how far their picture's unclear. And again, take what I say with a grain of salt because I'm higher on Dallas than a lot of people are. They're not going to win the division with the injury, but they can stay in some of these games against. Those are some really bad teams that you named in there. There's some teams in disarray.
The next 3 are not.
Philly,
Well,
Houston, and what's the last one?
I will say this right now. You could take a big old shovel, get yourself a nice big heaping pile of dung, and throw it right on top of them.
You don't even have to dig the grave 6 feet.
They're fucking done. Mike McCarthy shouldn't even be in the building. He should be selling peanuts in the fucking stands.
Hold on. He got another endorsement today from the owner.
I don't know how. I don't know how this guy is still the coach of this team.
He, quote, has a good pulse in the team. The players like
Whatever,
him.
dude.
Guys in the locker room like him.
I tell you right now, I bet you if you went through that fucking locker room, 89% of them would say goodbye.
That's a very exact.
That's where Belichick makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Because there's pieces there that he can win with.
How many more games do the Dallas Cowboys have to lose before they pull the plug?
They're not going to pull the plug. Pull the plug in general or pull the plug on Mike McCarthy?
Pull the plug on Mike McCarthy.
They're not going to pull the plug on Mike McCarthy.
You guys have been going on this carousel for.
I know that, but fucking
It's a great carousel.
Okay, if they hypothetically they lose the next 3, and they're 3-8.
It's not hypothetically, man.
Then you leave
I
in the
think
shit
the only
coach.
game that they win from here out, maybe the Panthers.
What if they get embarrassed
Then
by
you-
the Giants on Thanksgiving?
think
Then
they're
you leave
going
in
to.
you leave in the shit maybe.
That would do it.
Maybe, but you at that point you leave in the shit coach that is causing you to lose games. So
Mike,
you get the,
what
so
are
you
you
get the
gonna do
draft
when
pick.
they go-
So you
when
get the
they
draft
go to
pick.
fucking Washington and get blown out there
I don't think
from
they're
a
gonna get blown
fucking
out.
rookie quarterback.
I don't think they're gonna get blown out.
I do.
So I think they
Nothing
will
about them says anything to me. That game yesterday, dude, they were fucking half-hearted. When things started to go bad, they folded. They fucking folded.
So you're talking about after kickoff when
Yeah, basically.
early in the halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah. When things started to go south, they were done. dude.
I've always agreed with you guys that McCarthy should be fired. It's not going to happen.
He should have been fired 2 years ago.
We're just gonna and honest to God, not only is it not gonna happen, it's never gonna happen. His contract's gonna expire, and they're gonna be like, "Well, we just didn't come to terms with him. We didn't fire him. We're just not re-signing him. He didn't get fired." That's how they're gonna
Whatever.
play it.
Jerry will die before they win another Super Bowl. How about that one? Jerry will be dead.
Say less.
PJ in the chat, don't forget Ben DiNucci will be QB2 for the Cowboys. on
About
Sunday
Ben
night.
Johnson. Will Ben Johnson still be slinging? Or not Ben. What the hell is this guy's name? Jimmy Johnson.
What about Jimmy Johnson?
Will he still be slinging it?
You be careful when you utter that name. in front
Listen,
of Uncle
mate,
Sam
dude.
boy.
Jimmy Johnson's a god in this neighborhood.
Staying in division with a divisional game, Washington went into MetLife to play the Giants. Came out with another win, 27-22. Washington 7-2. The Giants 2-7. First and fourth.
Entertaining game. Entertaining game.
Yeah,
It
That
was
was
an
a
entertaining
hard
game.
fought
Daniel
game.
Jones
dude.
made it close. It went how we thought it would go. I thought that
Yeah.
that there would be a little depletion on the Commanders' end from the emotional win. And good for Daniel Jones. He played great, and I just think that they needed a little bit of zhuzh that they didn't have, and they probably could have pulled that game out. But good for the Giants. That's an example of good coaching. They're balling out right now. I don't know why. His first question in the press conference this week is, are we going to pull the plug on Daniel Jones? I know Daniel Jones isn't great, and I know he's not the long-term answer there, but he played well yesterday, especially in the second half. He was the reason they were in it in the second half.
He
Yep.
was yesterday. He was.
Hey, he was running the ball, throwing the ball. He looked like fucking Fran Tarkenton out there. If you don't know who that is, Bruce, you can Google it. Fran Tarkenton.
Washington not as impressive as usual. Divisional game coming off of a high emotion win.
They still just don't impress me in general.
They
I'm
just do
sorry.
enough to win.
Jaden Daniels impresses the hell out of me.
The rest of them is.
I think their defense is
Imagine if
it's
they
Dan
had a
Quinn
defense.
Yeah,
Imagine if they had a
defense.
defense.
Yes.
My God.
I don't see them winning the division because they're just another example of a team that's winning the games that they're supposed to win. They have a last place schedule, which means they have a ton of teams on their schedule, ton of games on their schedule that they're supposed to win.
Can I ask you a question? Who the fuck is going to win this division?
Philly.
Probably, but let's talk about Philadelphia because they're 6-2 and in second, and they beat Jacksonville by 5 in a game that Jacksonville tried to serve up to them, in my opinion. I still don't think Philadelphia is all that impressive.
This division has good years and bad years. Like, if you recall, like, they'll have a year where the Giants will win the Super Bowl, and then the next year they sent in a Redskins team with RG3 and Kirk Cousins that was 7-9.
With 29 seconds left in this game, Jacksonville was favored to win.
Yeah, no, it's just a down year for this division. I don't think Philly's the real deal. I think they've been, even though their record is good, I think they've been on shaky ground.
That game was close yesterday because of the stupid coaching decision.
Imagine if this team,
That's the reason why that game was close.
if Saquon Barkley stayed in New York, God.
No, they'd still need a little more because Tyrone Tracy's been really good. for
No,
the
but
Giants.
what would
Yeah,
Philly
I
look
agree.
like?
Oh, what would Philly? That's
Oh.
a good question.
What would Philly look
The answer's garbage.
like? Hot
The answer is garbage.
mean-
Hot
garbage.
dung.
The answer
Oh
is garbage.
my God. He willed this game.
Yeah.
He won them this game. This is one that you can put on the back of Saquon.
AJ Brown won't be long term, by the way.
That's what they were saying.
It's
Just,
week to week or day to day or something like that. There was no structural damage in his knee, and he could be back. You know who's looked good though is Devontae Smith.
He looked really good yesterday.
He's been good, but he looks good right now.
Saquon Barkley looks otherworldly yesterday, hopping over people.
Yeah.
160
Backwards.
yards.
He's a
My
great player.
How do you hurdle somebody back?
I don't know.
So
How do you fucking do that?
to answer your initial question, like they're in big trouble if he gets injured.
Oh, they're done.
They're in big trouble.
And it's inevitable. Just saying.
I don't think it's inevitable. Saquon's, to me, that era is
No,
behind
because
him,
you know
knock
what?
on
He's
wood.
he's actually learned how to play the game now. It's a little different animal. When you come in as a rookie, dude, you get banged up because you don't know how to protect your body yet. That's an issue.
All right, should we start our eulogy on the Chicago Bears?
Yeah, let's do it.
DJ Moore in an interview today was asked whether or not Matt Eberflus has lost his locker room. His response, I would like to say no. That means he lost the locker room. DJ Moore also walked off the field mid-play yesterday. If you'd like to go see the video, it's all over Twitter. All you got to do is search his name. I won't say no.
Can I say something on the walk off the field?
Sure.
It looked like an accident to me. It looked like he thought the play was over, but still, that's bad. Still, that's for a team leader, for the highest paid player in franchise history, if my math was correct. Definitely the highest paid receiver in franchise history. That's not a good look. Like, you're not supposed to, like, go make sure that your quarterback's scrambling back there.
Let's be totally honest.
Be honest.
And call this for what it is. I don't think these guys have any confidence in Caleb Williams whatsoever.
Caleb Williams or their head coach?
Talking about the players on this team.
No, I think it's the head
wide
coach.
receiver group on that team does not have confidence in their quarterback because he can't get them the ball.
I think Eberflus is
Yeah.
quickly moving up the chain of guys.
He's next. Eberflus is next. And we've done a really good job of
there
willing
was
firing.
issues in training camp with this shit, and nobody was talking about it then, which I was kind of fucking surprised.
But guess what? Okay, let's cut all the shit here. You're harder on Caleb Williams than any other rookie quarterback because you don't fucking like him. Period.
No, it's not because of that.
But it is.
When you got your wide receivers fucking frustrated to the point where they're fucking walking off the field, throwing their fucking hands up in the air, there's a reason for that. These guys know things that we're not seeing.
Why is every pass play for the Bears have to be this long downfield?
It's not. It shouldn't
is.
be.
It is.
I could see
They're
a
setting
scenario.
them up for disaster right now.
Eberflus is under so much pressure right now. I could see a scenario where he fires Shane Waldron, which wouldn't solve anything. I disagree on the Caleb Williams getting people the ball thing. I disagree with it because I've seen Caleb Williams do absurd things to get people the ball, including this year, including this receiving core. I think it's the head coach. I think it's when DJ Moore's. I think it's the head coach. I think it starts at the top. I think that he's got to be next. He's got after the start. It's the same thing as Dennis Allen. It's the same principle as Dennis Allen. After the start and where the mild expectations were, and when you start to come short of the mild expectations, well, maybe we can compete for a wild card. Yeah, you're doing it. You're really good. You're 4-1, 4-2, and then when you factor in like a collapse like this, Eberflus is don't do this. Like, just get rid of him. He should have never had another. It's like Mike McCarthy. Like, this is your yield. Should have never had another shot at this.
We talked about Eberflus being gone at the end of last year, dude.
In the middle of last year.
Their
We all
offense
talked
doesn't.
about Dennis Allen being gone.
Their
last week.
offense doesn't feel like it has any fucking identity. Underutilization of the run game. They're trying to do so much high flying bullshit. I mean, I don't know. It's not pretty.
You would figure with a rookie quarterback who has a good running game.
Make
behind
it
him,
easy.
Man, turn around and hand the fucking ball off. Dude.
Make it easy.
Your little play action passes should be wide open downfield. And these guys, why are they got this guy throwing fucking all these out routes?
Shane
post
Waldron.
routes? I don't see him throwing no screens, no this, no that. What the fuck, dude? You know what? It's exactly happening the way it's going to happen. Like you said, he'll probably get fired. But the problem is he going to ruin this locker room before it even happens? You know, I still think there's issues with the receiving core and the quarterback.
The other thing that I think we should touch on is the fact that this defense looked so good the first month, and it's just
they look bad. Yesterday
petered off.
Was the first day I seen them look bad.
I know. It wasn't pretty. Nothing about Chicago was
not that they
good,
looked bad. They
redeeming
were just
anything.
getting fucking. They were getting slobber knockered all over the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They lost a tough game, a tight game last week, but they played well in that game. They should have won.
Minnesota coming off of 2 straight losses, one on Sunday Night Football last night. Sam Darnold had 3 touchdown passes. Aaron Jones ran the ball pretty effectively. Where are we at now after 2 losses in a row, coming out, beating the Colts by a touchdown last night? How do we feel about Minnesota?
They're still in it.
They're 6-2.
They're in it.
I saw the chinks in the armor last night of the collapse. To me, they're going to get in the playoffs. I'm still very high on Minnesota. I'm just not as high on them as a division-winning team anymore.
No.
But I think they like. I don't think they have the juice to keep up with the Lions. But they're good to me. Minnesota, I still see like a decent team, even though last night they didn't play their best game. But you saw Darnold last night come back down to earth.
Darnold.
I thought that was key.
I thought
he came downhill a couple weeks ago.
I thought the Colts did more to lose that game than Minnesota did to win it. I'm sorry.
That's
Colts,
fair.
The Colts didn't play well. Flacco I know this hurts your heart.
No,
Flacco
it
didn't
doesn't.
play well.
I mean, but
Right.
Darnold hasn't played well for the last 3 games.
I know. And I just don't like, here's the thing. Let's go back 3 weeks. Minnesota's going to Jacksonville this week. We have to stop and think about that game for a second. At least I do. I don't know. I think Minnesota's very suspect, and I think they're going to lose games that they shouldn't lose going forward. I do. Last night was a godsend for them, in my opinion.
Yeah, they needed that. They needed that win, and I don't know. I want to keep an eye on them. I'm curious if they buy more tomorrow, if there's something else that they might think they need to add. Their secondary is kind of meh. Like Stephon Gilmore from Dallas.
They just got Hawkinson back too.
Hawkinson. They traded for what's his face? The tackle
from Jacksonville.
Cam. What's his face?
Cam Robinson.
Cameron Robinson.
Okay, let's do it. Green Bay sucks. Green Bay sucks. They threw up 8 points late just to make this one pretty. But Detroit beat Green Bay 24-14
They were in control of the game from the beginning.
in a monsoon at Lambeau. In a monsoon. This is when I kept going on and on last week about how I wasn't scared of Green Bay. And I really, as a Detroit Lions fan, not scared of anybody except maybe Baltimore. This is what I mean. I truly think this team is just can out muscle, outscore, out fucking do anybody that they're going to play going forward. I really do.
I mean, the game started out, and you had a team. What they do? A 6-minute drive. 6-minute drive. That opening drive for Green Bay.
Oh, it was a good long
6 minutes.
It was a great drive for
That
Green.
fir-
You're talking about
first
Green Bay's
drive,
opening drive.
6 minutes.
Yeah, it was a good
You
drive.
shit the bed. You have to kick a field goal.
7 minutes and 50 seconds.
There you
Green
go.
Bay's first drive.
7-minute drive, and the next thing you know, you stall out. You're kicking a field goal because of a stupid penalty.
And the Lions came out with a 7-minute drive of their own and scored.
Well,
I was just gonna say that the counter to that.
the engine was running good yesterday. David Montgomery took control of that game, and it was over from then on.
Listen, I love David Montgomery as much as you guys do, if not more, but I don't think he's the engine.
He's the engine.
Jameer Gibbs has 6.5 yards per carry
that to me
and leads the league
that
in yards
means
per
this to
carry.
me. David Montgomery is the fucking engine, dude.
That is because
David Montgomery is the fucking engine that makes it all work. That makes it all work.
Have you noticed the deployment between the two of them? And this goes back to the third quarter stuff
It's
from
a
last
good
year.
thing. It keeps them both fresh.
Well, not that.
Yeah.
It's a 17.
They go heavier on Montgomery in the first half. It's by design. Because in the second half, you have to adjust and account for a completely different running back who runs a completely different way and has a completely different tool set. So when you're getting beat in the trenches by Montgomery, all of a sudden you have the guy with arguably the fastest top speed in the league right now going at you in the second half. And teams do not have an answer. And this is one of the reasons the Lions have come out really strong in the third quarters this year.
It's running
because
the
of the
football in
deployment.
general.
Running
That opens everything up. It opens everything up, especially downfield.
I'm sorry. There is not a team in the league that this team should lose to going forward.
Well,
They will. They'll lose the game.
Here's the issues. I mean, what do you think is their biggest issue?
Pass rush.
Pass rush, which for all intents and
Did you
purposes,
did you watch it yesterday? Did you watch these guys
There was
coming off
nothing-
the line?
there was nothing to watch.
They're lucky they had a quarterback with one leg.
There was nothing to
yesterday.
watch. But the interior pass rush was so good that it just made me think, man, they could really use a guy
That
on
was
the edge.
the interior was the only real pressure they were getting.
I agree.
And I watched James Houston.
dancing.
I watched
Jordan Love still
Hampton.
sucked, by the way, with minimal pressure.
I watched
Jordan Love sucked.
Hold on. I watched him. I watched fucking Isaiah Thomas. I watched Muhammad and Pat O'Connor. And I could truly say that they're dog shit. They're fucking dog shit. If you're playing a team that it's not a monsoon with a quarterback that is, I'm going to be honest with you, dude. I think LaFleur fucked up by playing Jordan Love. If I was him, I think they would have had a better chance with Malik Willis. I never thought I would fucking say this.
You don't pay $55 million.
I think they
to
would have had a better chance with Malik Willis to win that game.
Maybe, but you needed the difference in the game yesterday is that the Lions, again, they're designed for this. They're designed to beat you anytime, anywhere, any place. You want a dog fight and a rock fight in the snow at Lambeau? Cool. We're going to win that. You want to get into an air raid attack? We'll probably win that too. They're designed for these games. And the difference in the two teams is this is why this is the we're going to go a little like a 10% more. It takes more. That's the model for the year. This is why they do a little bit more in the weight room. This is why they put in more reps. This is why they catch a few extra balls after practices for games like this. And the difference in the game yesterday was one team was significantly more fundamentally sound than the other. And Jordan Love, yeah, man, you can make the case that Malik Willis may have been the difference yesterday, but
Yeah,
his
I
receivers,
truly do.
his receivers dropped a lot of balls. A lot of balls that were in their
they
hands.
dropped a lot of balls. The balls weren't there.
Some of
They
the
were
balls
either
weren't there.
behind, in the fucking ground.
It's not the
Christian
point.
Watson- 3 feet in front of
Christian
him.
Watson had 2 or 3 bounce off his fucking hands, dude.
Well,
That's
I mean,
This is what
that's
the
the
Lions were
weather.
built for.
It is what it is.
This
No.
is
The
this is
game was over when Kirby Joseph had that pick six.
the game
I
was over
agree.
when
Game
Kirby
was over.
Joseph
I
had the
agree
pick six.
that
Yeah.
Game was over.
put the
That put
Yeah.
the fork in it.
that put
At
the fork
halftime.
in them.
And this is
Yeah.
why I've been low on Jordan Love. Is he's great when he's great. When he's on and he's pumping and everything's in rhythm, it's awesome. It's so cool to watch. But he can't put the
When
team
you
on
have
his
to
back
rely-
and win
try
a
to
game.
rely on throwing the football and the
Yeah.
windy, rainy,
Yeah.
shitty. I don't know what was going on because they ran the ball really, really good the first quarter and a half, and then they just kind of fucking abandoned it.
Coaching. I don't think they abandoned it. It was getting stuffed.
Yeah.
It was getting stuffed.
I
He
don't
went
know
from
about
getting
that.
like 6-7 yards a carry to getting like 1 or 2 in the second half. They were trying to run the ball, and then what happens there is it scares you.
What killed them is the inconsistency at quarterback when they were
Yeah.
dropping all the balls.
But that's
And the balls
also
weren't there.
at some point you got to give credit to the Lions defense too on some of that.
And that was without Brian Branch because he got thrown out.
Hold
of the
on.
game.
Hold on. That was without Brian Branch. That was without Aiden Hutchinson. That was without Malcolm Rodriguez, without Derek Barnes, without Ifeatu Melifonwu, without Kaminsky, without Marcus Davenport, without Jamison Williams. I mean, is there anyone that I'm missing right now? And you went in there and you beat a team that was predicted to maybe win the division or go to the Super Bowl on the road in the rain without all those guys. You didn't just beat them. You manhandled
half.
them. You manhandled them again for the third time in 4 games. You have their fan base questioning everything and questioning what they're capable of and their expectations. And it's Lions football right now for you, baby.
And the best part about it is that's the worst their defense is going to be. Was yesterday.
And it wasn't that bad.
And it wasn't bad. But realistically, after tomorrow, I really think Holmes is going to take care of this. I really do.
I think that's a little premature.
I
don't
don't.
think we could say that.
I don't.
So-
I don't. I think
And
they're
when they
going
do
to be
nothing
better
and
now.
go forward with Isaiah Thomas and Muhammad and Pat O'Connor,
O'Connor.
yeah,
I don't think so. I really don't. I think they're going to do what they need to do.
they
There's-
need to, listen. If they can at least get one of the guys that everybody's talking about, I don't think it's enough. But if they
I don't
can
think
at
it's
least get
enough
one of
either.
them, it might
I'm with
be
you.
But hold on.
good enough to
for
steer the
what?
ship to win a Super Bowl.
You don't. Neither of you think it's enough for what?
To win a Super Bowl.
I think you need 2 guys.
But hold on.
What is
Who's
it?
going to
What
beat
is
him?
it?
Who's going to?
No, your
No,
your
because
argument's
you're gonna
great.
You're going to run into a fucking game where you're not going to have a gimpy quarterback, or it's not going to be a fucking monsoon, or it's you're going to run into a team that you have to play straight up, that's going to come at you and try to be as physical as you are, and they're going to find themselves in the fucking dogfight.
So
it's going to come.
Your argument is great, and I know where you're coming from. It's who's going to beat them. I'm. There's no scenario where the Lions aren't favored in every game they play in going forward, up
I
to
agree
and
with
including the Super Bowl. I think they'd be favored against any AFC team that they play. I know what you're saying, but he's on the right track as well. There's a lot of things that they're doing right now that they cannot sustain. Maybe the one thing I think is
Listen to me,
possible
Jared Goff is playing at a fucking level
that no one's ever
that
seen.
nobody's ever seen before.
That's the one thing I
That's
think
the
they can
thing,
sustain, though.
Because you know there's a time when if Jared Goff gets knocked around and gets hurt like he did last year, and then all of a sudden he comes out and he's not the Jared Goff that we're all watching blasting records right now, they have a good chance to lose a couple of games in there.
That's the one
That's
thing.
where you guys need to fucking wake up because it's going to
Okay,
happen
if Pat Mahomes
sooner or
gets
later.
hurt
Hold on.
tonight, then the Chiefs are done too.
So
I mean, we're sitting here talking about if
Patty
the
Mahomes doesn't get
franchise
touched.
quarterback goes down injured.
listen,
That's the only way they lose.
I think
franchise quarterback.
I
goes
think
down.
Goff is dialed, and I think that's not going to change. Something that is going to change, like there's no way he's got 30 straight completions to St. Brown. Like you can't sustain that. Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, might be the best running back in the league at the moment. I don't think he could sustain 6.5 yards per carry, even though he's fucking incredible. The defense has given up 6 passing touchdowns the entire year. That's insane. Credit to Aaron Glenn.
Yep.
They did a great job with the secondary, who's been great.
Let's not forget another number, which is pretty big.
Jack Fox.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Jack Fox is a fucking difference maker.
He's an absolute
He's a difference
monster.
maker.
He's not human.
He,
but go
he
ahead.
basically
What were you going to say?
helped
I'm
them
sorry.
win that game.
I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
Jordan Love threw for how many yards yesterday?
Jordan Love threw for, I believe it was 240 yards. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. 273 yards.
There you go. Almost 300 yards in a fucking monsoon.
But that works.
Didn't matter.
That work. The
Right.
bend, but don't. If
Right.
it doesn't matter if you get into the red zone and
Correct.
you're going to throw the ball
Correct.
to Kirby Joseph, you know.
Yeah. Well, when you're missing,
What'd you say, Bruce?
missing fucking wide open receivers too.
I took the Jordan Love over one. It was like 175 or something like that.
Like their defense is fine with this. I watched Baker
No,
shred them to an extent.
I get
Mason
what you're
Rudolph.
saying. I get what you're saying, but sooner or later, that is going to hit you.
But if they get the stop when they need to get the stop, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. Like this is work now. This is 8 games of this, and there's been no answer to what the Lions do offensively.
Now,
and
through them 8
defensively.
games, we're looking at 6 of them that offensively they've been scoring fucking in droves. That's not going to happen all year
But
long.
why? Why? You
Because
keep saying
sooner,
it's not
sooner
going
or
to happen.
later,
Why?
he's going to cool. Golf is going to cool off.
Then the
sooner
run
or
game
later.
will support it. He
So
threw for 150
maybe
yards.
the
and
run
1
game will
touchdown
get
yesterday.
stuffed. We don't know. The offensive line. You get a couple of injuries in there, dude. Happened last year where they went through a stretch where
You
they
know,
lost.
you do something.
Why?
You do something.
Why? Because I
whenever-
speak the fucking truth.
No, because whenever
Okay.
we talk about a good team, you come out with if the franchise quarterback goes down and they lose their 2 interior offensive linemen and the running backs stop running where they have 2
all
running
I'm
backs.
saying is this: like he said,
They're-
you can't sustain the type of shit that they're doing
Against-
right now.
but-
It can only go so far.
Does Buffalo's defense scare you?
No.
Do you think going up against Buffalo's
I'm not a
defense, they're
Buffalo
gonna
guy.
Okay, San Francisco's defense, that's as weak as it's been in recent memory. Are we scared of Houston, Jacksonville, or Indy?
They're all coming up here real soon.
They don't, but see, that's the thing. That they're all coming up. None of them fucking scare me.
Well, okay.
Houston's playing ridiculous average fucking football.
You still have to play Green Bay again.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Not
Still have
scared.
to play Minnesota.
I'm
again.
excited for
Doesn't
Green
matter,
Bay
not
again.
scared.
So
Still
we
have to play Chicago.
You get to play both of them at home this time.
Can we can do this right now? Listen, you guys know how I like to look at the season in quarters, right?
Yep.
This was the end of the second quarter.
4-0.
4-0 in a quarter. And if you wanna throw this next one in because it's the end of a really crazy stretch where you had
5-0.
at Dallas, at Minnesota, Titans at home.
And then at
Yeah.
Lambeau.
So listen,
We had 2
They're
of these
7-1.
games losses to start out the year.
yeah, there's 7-1 right now, and they've played some of their best football. Like you can make the case that their most complete game still hasn't even happened yet. You can make that case. They're 7-1. They're 1 week away. Like if they do go into Houston Sunday night and win, which I'm banking on at the moment, you go into Houston and win Sunday night. Your stretch after that, it's Jacksonville at home. It's at Indy. It's Chicago at home, and then at Green Bay Green Bay at home. Excuse me. That's your next 4. I mean, there's a scenario where they can, like, if they win this one, and let's say they win Green Bay, and I don't want to look too far
Buffalo
ahead.
game they could clinch.
I was just gonna say you can lock up the NFC by that Bills game. That could be like
Can I
the end all be all.
big picture here? Big picture.
They get home field throughout the playoffs. They're
It's-
good. That's money.
They're going to get it. There's no NFC team that's in their echelon right now, in my opinion. There's no NFC team that's playing. And there's some good NFC teams.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is what if I had to make a prediction right now, they lose 3 games this year.
Tom Brady talked.
Minnesota at the end when they're resting everyone.
Bingo. And
Tom Brady talked
Either
about this yesterday.
Buffalo, at Chicago, or at San Francisco.
correct. They'll lose 2 of their last 4 because they don't fucking.
Three wins gets you, or 3 losses, by the way, which is 14 wins. 14 wins gets you the 1 seed in the NFC.
Correct.
14. They technically have a
Tom
2-game
Brady
lead.
talked about that too. He said when they went undefeated and then lost.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yep.
They were sprinting that year.
Godspeed. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. right at trade deadline time to talk about everything that's going on. There's T. Higgins of the Chargers rumors flying around all over the place right now. Caleb Williams is at the podium talking about how shitty his coach is. Taylor Swift is walking into Arrowhead as we speak.
Let's go. Jason Kelsey apologized for smashing the kid's phone.
Yes, he
I don't
did.
know why he did that
I
because
don't know
that was awesome.
Called his brother a fag.
No, why he's apologizing.
That's why he did it.
Well, yeah, I know why he did that, but why is he
You could
apologizing?
hear the guy say
Yes,
it to him.
but
Yeah.
he
And
apologized
said-
for it.
On ESPN.
He went on
Why?
ESPN today and
Exactly.
apologized.
See, you're right.
Why?
Would he do that?
I wouldn't have done
I would have doubled down. I would have said I would have did that again if I had the
I'm gonna break
opportunity
your
to.
phone again.
Next time I'm going to break your face.
Next time I'm going to stomp on you and then your phone.
Bruce, you got anything to add?
Negative.
You have anything to add? Do you have anything to add?
See you at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, see you guys tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Hopefully
Thanks
we have
for
a
joining us.
new lion to talk about.
Weed pen.
Follow our socials. We'll have Max Crosby by tomorrow.
The
We'll
little
see you
black
in,
cassette pen.
we'll see you in 21 hours.